Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. You know we like to get into the nitty-gritty here, and today we're talking about something that could seriously shake up the world of kickboxing.
That's right. We're looking at IsoTone and its potential to give fighters a real edge in the ring.
So picture this. You're in the ring, the crowd is going wild, the lights are blinding, and your opponent is coming right at you. Every single split second matters.
Absolutely. In kickboxing, speed and agility are everything, and that's where IsoTone comes in.
IsoTone, for those who haven't heard of it, is a pretty cool piece of tech. It's a portable resistance device that you could use pretty much anywhere.
And the really unique thing about it is that the resistance automatically adjusts to how much force you use.
So you're not just pushing against a set weight. It's like having a training partner who's always pushing you to go harder and faster.
Exactly. And get this. They say they even had a pro kickboxer sweating after using it for only 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Wow, that's got to be some intense training.
It is, and that intensity comes from the way IsoTone engages your muscles. It's all about mimicking those explosive movements you need in kickboxing.
So think those rapid-fire jabs, lightning-fast kicks, and those crucial defensive moves that can make or break a fight.
You got it. And IsoTone claims to be able to train your muscles to react faster, which could translate to a serious advantage in the ring.
That's fascinating. So it's not just about brute strength. It's about being able to move quickly and decisively when it matters most.
Right. And IsoTone actually has a customized training program designed specifically for kickboxing, which we'll dig into a little bit later.
Sounds interesting. But before we get into the specifics of the training regimen, let's talk a little bit about the core techniques of kickboxing itself.
Sure. So you've got your basic punches, jabs, crosses, hooks, uppercuts. Then you've got your kicks, roundhouse kicks, side kicks, teep kicks, all sorts of variations.
And of course, let's not forget about the defensive side of things. Blocking, dodging, slipping punches, all those moves that can help you avoid taking damage.
Absolutely. Kickboxing is a dynamic sport. It's a constant back and forth between offense and defense, and being able to move quickly and efficiently is essential.
Speaking of moving quickly, I think it's time to bring up Darius This guy is a professional kickboxer who's been training with IsoTone down in Florida.
Yeah, and his experience has been pretty interesting. Not only was he sweating after just a few minutes of using IsoTone, but his heart rate spiked incredibly fast too.
So it sounds like this training is no joke. But here's a question that popped into my head. Has IsoTone been tested in other sports?
That's a great question, and it really speaks to the potential versatility of this technology. While we're focusing on kickboxing today, the same principles of enhanced muscle response could theoretically be applied to other sports that demand quick reflexes, like tennis, basketball, you name it.
That makes sense. So while more research is definitely needed, IsoTone could have implications for athletes across a wide range of disciplines.
Exactly. But for now, let's stick with kickboxing and see what Darius's experience can tell us about the potential benefits of this training.
Sounds good. But before we move on, I do have one more question. Are there any potential downsides to this type of intense resistance training? I mean, could it lead to injuries if not used correctly?
That's a valid concern, and it really highlights the importance of proper technique and guidance when using any new training tool. While IsoTone shows promise, it's crucial to approach it with caution and ideally work with experienced trainers to minimize the risk of injury.
Good point. So before we get into the actual IsoTone training regimen, Sue's material posed a couple of really interesting questions.
Oh yeah, I remember those. They were good ones.
The first one was, do you see value in this type of training for gaining a competitive edge?
Yeah, and the second one was even more thought-provoking. Would you be worried if your competitors were using IsoTone and you weren't?
Those are definitely questions worth pondering because they really get to the heart of what we're discussing today. I mean, imagine if your opponent is out there training with this cutting-edge tech and you're not. Could that make a difference in a close fight?
Potentially, yeah. To be successful in kickboxing, you need a whole bunch of qualities: speed, agility, endurance, power, and control. And IsoTone's whole premise is that it can help you enhance all of these things.
So it's like a multi-pronged approach to improving your overall performance.
Exactly. And the idea is that by training your muscles to react more quickly and efficiently, you'll be able to move faster, hit harder, and last longer in the ring.
Sounds pretty promising. And I'm actually really excited to dive deeper into the specifics of the IsoTone training regimen, but we'll have to save that for another deep dive.
Sounds good. We'll definitely have to circle back to that. But for now, let's zoom out a bit and talk about the bigger picture.
Okay, so what are the key takeaways from our discussion today?
Well, I think it's safe to say that IsoTone presents a pretty fascinating new approach to training with the potential to significantly impact the world of kickboxing.
The early results are definitely promising, but as with any new technology, more research is needed to fully understand its long-term effects and potential drawbacks.
Absolutely. And it's also important to remember that there's no magic bullet when it comes to athletic success. Dedication, discipline, and a holistic approach to training are all crucial.
That's a great point. No single tool can replace hard work and consistent effort.
Exactly. But tools like IsoTone can potentially help athletes push their limits and reach new levels of performance. And in a sport like kickboxing, where tiny margins can make all the difference, any advantage can be crucial.
That's a great point to end on. So keep those questions in mind. Do you see value in this type of training? And would you be concerned if your rivals were using it and you weren't?
If a small edge can be the difference between winning and losing, what steps are you willing to take to find your advantage?
Until next time, keep training hard, keep learning, and keep pushing your limits. And don't forget to tune in for our next deep dive, where we'll be taking a closer look at the IsoTone kickboxing training regimen. It's going to be fascinating. We'll see you then.